Well, there. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur here, coming at you tonight. Which, just as we get before the day of Thursday, we're on Wednesday, and it's February 9th. For those of you that are new, what we do every single night here is on Inspirations for Your Life. I have a topic that I have for the entire week. I start with Saturday and I end with Friday. And every single day, I actually talk about that topic a little bit more and some different areas in it. For those of you that are back, well, welcome back. It is always great to have my trusted, loyal subscribers. Thank you so much for coming back. And also, hopefully, some of my new subscribers will become loyal as well. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. At the top of the screen, you're going to notice a QR code. You can go ahead and scan that QR code. All you do is you just take your phone, just like so, hold up the camera app, and just point it right to the screen, like so. And once you do that, you'll see it. You can click on it. That'll take you right to my, right to my link tree, and you'll be able to see lots of great information about me and all the different types of content that I actually produce. So definitely check that out. So welcome, welcome, welcome. What gift will you share with the world? So we have tonight, we have tomorrow, and we have Friday. So when we talk about gifts, what is a gift? What's actually a gift? And I think the best way, was a little bit stuck on a wire there, sorry, is when we think about a gift, I want you just to think about that just for a moment. What is a gift? We've been talking about gifts the last few days, okay? But what is a gift? Well, for that wonderful answer, we're going to go over to my friends over at Merriam Webster. And a gift is a notable capacity, a talent, or an endowment, something voluntarily transferred by one person to another without compensation. The act, right, or power of giving. It's a gift. Now, when we think about gift, most people would want to say, what are we talking about? Are we talking about something that has to do with something that I'm expecting? Because you can ask for presents, right? You can ask for gifts. And so if you ask for something, is that a gift? You can get a present, but if you ask for something, is it really a gift? Well, I mean, technically it is, but a gift is something that somebody gives you not because something you ask for, but something they feel you deserve or that they want to give you for no other reason than to say thank you. So, a great way to have a gift for someone else is to say thank you. That's the very basic way, is to say thank you. How many of you out there actually say thank you to people in your life? Do you say thank you? Or do you just kind of like mill around and be like, well, I don't know. I'll just kind of, whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to do. And that's the thing. When we think about a gift, okay, let's think about Valentine's Day that's coming up. And we talked about other things you can make, and we're going to do some more of that before the streams are over this week for this topic. Saying thank you is a gift. Saying I love you to people is a gift. Okay. You're not expecting anything in return. A lot of times when you say I love you, I want to hear it back. But when you have a gift, um, maybe somebody did a great job. Maybe they were landscaping for you and they did a really exemplary job. Well, then all you would need to basically do is do something. So some people will give money as a gift. I mean that's one thing they can do. But is that necessarily the best thing? Well, it's not bad, but when you give a gift, I feel it should mean something. A dollar bill or $5 or 10 or 20 or more, it doesn't mean anything because anybody could give that, right? You want something that will exemplify what the person did. So, for example, maybe the person did something great for you. Maybe it was a relative, and you know what you decide to do? You decide to give them a gift. You decide to bake them a cake. And so, not very expensive to do, time consuming, but something they're really going to enjoy. What do moms do a lot of times for their kids when they're younger? They make them chocolate chip cookies or other types of cookies at home. And I know some even get these cookies at the store that are like in a container. Not my favorite. And you open the container and just pop them onto the oven tray, aluminum foil, and you put them in there for 20, 28 minutes, and they're all ready to go. You don't have to do anything. And they're loaded with a lot of garbage. But my point, though, is a gift is something that creates an experience in your life and other people's lives. So if you went out to dinner, okay, and it's somebody's birthday. I'm going to go back to my birthday. So let's go back to my 21st birthday, which was a little while ago. A gift. Yes, I got money then, but I got cards, right? And I also got some personalized things, like a few people made things, got some ornaments. Um, I even had somebody that gave me something that was a piece of chocolate. So you might say, gee, what kind of gift is that? But that chocolate was actually pretty good. It was dark chocolate. It was really good. And I was very appreciative for whatever was given to me. At the end of my party, um, you know, my mom said, is there anything that you didn't get that you wanted? And I didn't want to say what I wanted, but at that time I wanted a laser, actually wanted a laser printer. I still remember to this day, it was an HP LaserJet 4 Plus. And the reason I wanted this printer is that when I was in college, I spent a lot of time going around to computer services, printing out my documents, and having to pay for them. And I also thought that if I could do this, then maybe I could make some money because lots of people are running for student council, different clubs, they need to print stuff. But if I could be cheaper than central duplication, then I probably would get the business. Well, it was about a week after my birthday, and it was a surprise birthday, by the way. It was my 21st surprise birthday, and I remember we were walking. Um, well, first we were in the car and we got out, and the place we went to was the Manor in West Orange, New Jersey, and we walked in the hallway and we went one direction, and we're just waiting. And I was wondering why we were walking far left. And then all of a sudden, I guess they just kind of wanted to give some of the guests time to get there. And all of a sudden they said, well, let's go. Your table's now ready. And I start walking and there's like no lights. And I was like, gee, there's no lights or anything. I was like, where's the table? I keep walking away. All of a sudden there's a surprise. And the one good thing about that night was, so I turned 21. And so I didn't get carded that entire night. And all my friends, they're like, they were around my age or close. They're like, they would ask them for cards. And it was just funny, but because I was 21, everyone knew that they didn't card me. And that was kind of amazing. But so people made lots of great things for me. But what happened after that party was I had some money that I got from that party. My mom's like, well, what would you like to get? And I said, I'd like to get a printer. I'd like to get a HP LaserJet 4 Plus. She's like, wow, well, that's a lot of money. As I said, I think I have enough money. It was at that time, it was a couple $1,000s. So I got the printer, and again, it was just a black and white printer. But having this printer and just being able to print, and this thing printed quite a few pages a minute. And then it was kind of neat because I used this printer, and it was just black and white, but I was able to print really high quality papers to turn in. And the other students had the same ability, but you had to go across campus all the time. So if I was working on a paper late at night or in the morning, I could simply make changes to it and not have to worry about rushing over last minute, because I could have my paper printed before class the day before. And then I remember getting some friends of mine that wanted things printed. And I remember having prices. One price was for if you wanted it like same day, I had one price, had a price for next day, and a price for like it'll be done within the week. And then I had a rush price that if you wanted it done within the hour and I could do it, I think it was like triple. And I had some people do that because they wanted me to print flyers for them. And Central Dupe was charging, I think to students, I think they were charging almost like 25 or 30 cents. And I wasn't charging that much. I was probably only charging, I think they were charging like 35 cents, and I was charging like about 10 or 15. So that was pretty cool. And then, so I kind of started my first little business there. And so then what happened was that printer came home with me. And I realized there was one thing that I wanted for that printer. And I realized that printer did not come with a duplex option. I was like, oh. So I had to buy a duplexer, which I think at the time was like another $1,200 or $1,400. So basically what happened is the back of the printer would come off, and then there was a piece of the printer literally sat on this unit, and then this little kind of like this piece came up to the back and clipped in, and that's how the whole duplex thing worked, and it was pretty cool. So I had that, and I had that printer for a long time. I even got an envelope feeder. In fact, the day that I decided to get rid of that printer, I still had my business that I started, because this was now the business that I started, my IT business, I should say. And this was really cool because I had this printer, I was using it, and it was just amazing. And then I started using it on a network, and it was great. And then I got the envelope feeder. But then that printer, after having it a while, was really starting to become more of a problem, because I had this printer now, I'm going to say over 10 years, and it just wasn't making sense to fix. So, and also things were coming out, like color printers were becoming cheaper now. But why do I bring this out to you? So the gift of that night was something that was pretty neat. So what gift did I give? Well, my mom, was, really happy that I was there, and I was really happy that I was there too. And so one of the things I did was I danced with my mom. And so that was a gift that I gave her. It was a gift she gave me. And so, it was really neat because I got to dance with my mom, and, it was just that feeling. I will never forget what went on. And so when you give a gift that can cement a feeling, hopefully it's positive, not negative, it's going to change your life and someone else. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever gone on a roller coaster before? I have. And I remember the very first roller coaster I went on. I believe it was at Great Adventure. And I had never gone on a roller coaster before in my life. I was kind of petrified, but love physics, love science. And so our physics class decided to take a trip to Great Adventure. Okay. So we were going to go on roller coasters. And I was like, I don't think so. I'll just do the physics, the calculation. And I said, well, that's okay. You don't have to go on the roller coaster. And so my friends were like, oh, you should really go on this roller coaster. It was Batman, and it was like this steel coaster. And I was like, no, I'm not going on it. And so then I met one of the engineers, and I was talking to him about, what he does. And he says, oh, you should go on. I said, nah, I don't want to go on. He said, well, let me tell you what I do every day. And he was going through all the maintenance thing and all the steps. And he was kind of taking me for a little tour around. I was like, wow, he does a lot of stuff. He's like, this roller coaster is very safe. And there were 4 people including him, that actually did this every morning and every night. And I said, wow, they put a lot of time in this. So after being with him for like about 2 hours and getting a little bit more, how can I say, comfortable, I decided to get online. And I walked up to the place where, you'd get on the roller coaster. And this was a different kind of roller coaster, because this roller coaster, you don't get in the car and sit. You get up to the what they call the loading and unloading area, and you just kind of stand there, and then you just literally just kind of like lean back. A time when the chair comes, it hits your leg, and you just sit down. They put the bar over you, and then the adrenaline started pumping in my body. And I'm like, okay, what did I just do? And they're like, okay, my friends, like, whatever you do, just keep staring at the spot. If you're not used to roller coasters, stare at that spot, so you don't get sick. Because if you go look all over the place, you're going to get sick and you're going to regurgitate. And I don't want to be sitting next to you doing that. I said, okay. And so I'm looking at the spot and looking at the spot, and I'm just looking at it. I keep looking at that spot, keep looking at it. I'm holding on. I'm just trying to enjoy it. I'm like, wow, this is kind of neat. I keep looking at the spot. I'm kind of like, wow, this is neat. And I felt a sense of freedom. And so that was pretty cool. And after that roller coaster, I felt like going on the Great American Scream Machine. Again, not as advanced as that coaster, the steel coaster. The steel coaster was a lot quieter. It was very fluidy, the way it moved around. The Great American Scream Machine, for those of you who don't know, it starts going up. It starts to go up this great big hill. And when it gets to the very top, it comes around, it comes to the top, it comes down. And then just as it's coming down, it goes around a loop. And just as you're coming out of the loop, they grab your picture. Yeah, I know. That's pretty amazing. So my gift was to give myself freedom and to give myself enjoyment. And that was the gift that my friends gave me too, because one time we actually went there. We didn't go to school. This was one time. And we went there, and now they knew that I liked roller coasters. We actually went on Great American Scream Machine. And it was fun. That was the first time I've ever did that. And you're probably going to ask me, did I get in trouble? I didn't get in trouble. But when I got home, my parents were like, where were you? And I said, I didn't say a word. They're like, school. And I was like, no. Where were you? I said, well, I kind of took a field day with school. And I was like, no. And they said, was Brian with you? I said, yes. I said, we went to Great Adventures. Like, oh, well, that was nice. They're like, we played hooky once or twice at school. That's okay that you did that, but don't make it a habit to do that all the time. And I think, when you get a freedom and you're able to do something, you don't want to do it all the time. As I told you, I had friends in my class, unfortunately, that their parents were alcoholics. And because of that, they were never permitted to be around alcohol because their parents couldn't control themselves. So they were never allowed, because they figured because of their genes and stuff that they probably would become like them. Could be. And so they were just very protective. And so what this did is it drove the teens, the students, to go drink whenever they were around somewhere, like at our party, at the 21 party, and they just couldn't really control their liquor. And the thing about it is that a gift at that party was just to have everyone around me and just to be there and to be celebrating. That was such a gift. So a lot of times, there's the holidays, right? You have Thanksgiving, if you have Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever it is that you celebrate. A lot of people say, oh, I'm too busy to go home and see my parents. We have a tradition in our family that we always are with the family for the holidays. And you might say, gee, oh, that's a pain. Well, no, it's not. Because, being with your family is really important. I remember one New Year's that I was not with them. And I won't say that I had a bad time. I had a great time, but they kind of didn't want me to do that again. And, you need to treasure your family while they're here, and you can do great things. So the greatest gift that you can give to your family is your time, your love, obviously, but your time. I had great grandparents, and I remember my grandmother Morley, who was on my dad's side. and she was very, very strict. But her and my grandfather, I remember, if you remember, I told you in a prior video that he actually died before third grade, and I won't go into all the details about that. But anyway, he had lung cancer, and he had stopped smoking before I was born, but it was too late because the damage was done to his lungs. Anyway, I'm going to fast forward ahead. And so they had bought tickets to Paper Mill Playhouse in New Jersey. And so when my grandfather was alive, they would go there all the time. They would take me to some of the kid productions on the weekend, which was fun, like the magic shows. But then my grandfather died, and a few years later, my grandmother, when I had gotten a little older, I'm going to say I was maybe it was like a year probably after my grandfather died. My grandma was like, well, gee, we should ask. And she called me Johnny. Now, she was the only person allowed to call me Johnny. My name is John. But she would say, oh, we asked Johnny if, he wants to go. I was like, well, he's got school. Well, that's no big deal. You can take him out of school. And my mom's like, well, he's learning something. And then she kind of like laid the guilt trip. She's like, I don't know how many years I'm going to be here. I'll be here a little while, but, don't deprive a grandmother her joy of being with the love of her life, her pride and joy. And so they would come to school, and again, it was a Thursday, and I knew that about 10 to 11 or so, they would be at the front. They would be at the school, and there already had been a note because my parents would pull up with the car, and I already would see the car, and so, but they wouldn't let me go until I got permission to leave. So once they got permission from basically the main office that Mr. and Mrs. Morley's here, pick up their son, then I was allowed to leave the class with a note, go downstairs, and then we would go to a restaurant called Charlie Brown's. And after we went to Charlie Brown's, we would go to the Paper Mill Playhouse. And my grandmother, even after my mom, because my mom would go, but then she couldn't always go, my grandmother would invite me. And we would have, like a burger. I'd have fries, and I'd have a dessert. And then we would go to Paper Mill Playhouse. We'd actually walk around, and we'd get to see all the art. For those of you who don't know Paper Mill Playhouse in New Jersey, it's pretty amazing. And we got to walk and see all the art, and it was just kind of fun. And we had our regular seats. I still remember what they were, 109 and 110, row K. And we would sit in our seats, and we'd be there. We'd get our playbill. My grandmother asked, would I like any candy? And, she would get it for me. She was like, it's very overpriced, but whatever you want, we'll get. And so they didn't allow you to take drinks in the theater, but you could bring like candies and snacks and things like that. So we would get that, and we would have a great time. And I remember, I forget exactly what year it was, but we went to the play, and all of a sudden I was sitting at the play, watching the play, and my grandmother just kind of just like zonked out, like went unconscious. And I'm like, Grandma, are you okay? I hadn't learned CPR or AED or anything like that back then. And I didn't know what to do. I had my cell phone. I was going to call, looking around for help, calling 911 on my cell phone and saying, help. I said, my grandmother just passed out. Where? I said, well, we're in Paper Mill Playhouse in Millburn, New Jersey. We're in the middle of a play. We don't really want to make too much of a scene, but we need to get her out of here. She's not conscious. And so the people behind me are like, shh, you need to be quiet. I said, my grandmother just passed out, and we dialed 911. Oh, okay. But this is a good part of the play. And I was like, so we get out, and one of the people in the audience was a doctor. He came back, didn't want to give his name because they're always afraid if they're going to get sued or something. And he helped my grandmother. We went off to the hospital, and I spent time with her. And she really enjoyed that. Giving time to your loved ones is the best thing to do. Even if you don't know somebody, like if you volunteer, I've talked about it at a soup kitchen, and you don't have to tell people you're doing this. You can give a gift to somebody and not make anyone know what you're doing. You say, yeah, I'm just doing something. And I think when you can recognize that it's a gift and it's something you're doing for not a reward, but to just help the world become a better place, that's pretty remarkable. So a gift is something that you do not to get a reaction, but so that you can show appreciation. Another way of saying thank you is a gift. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know who I am by now. I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Show me some love, whether it's on Facebook, John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, my LinkedIn page, John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, YouTube page, Twitter, Twitch, Periscope. And then be sure to comment below, what is your gift? What gift are you going to start giving to the world? Or have you started giving to the world? And then tag your friends, your colleagues, and your associates. And you know what I'm going to ask you to do next? Share it out to everyone you know on social media all over the place. And then what I want you to do, if you really got value tonight, hey, scan the QR code. But really, go to the YouTube channel, type in John space C space MORLEY space serial entrepreneur. Look for the key phrase, help keep our content free. Below that, click on the PayPal link and make the choice to buy my team and I a cup of coffee. We'll be so grateful with those pennies and dollars. We'll invest them into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new staff, and even new facilities, because I'm on a mission to keep delivering the best motivational content around and to make myself a better version of myself and to help you become a better version of yourself so you can help others become a better version of yourself. I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. I hope you have a great rest of your night or a great rest of your early morning. And I will be back later on today, Thursday, to talk about another gift that we need to explore. And then we'll wrap it all up on Friday. Think about what you're going to give the world. Have yourself a great night, everyone. Take care.